everyone. I am so excited to make this video for a couple of reasons. First of all, this video is sponsored by Nordstrom. I am excited as always to work with them. I've had a long-standing relationship with them, and honestly, of all the brands and retailers I've ever worked with, Nordstrom is the best. I know you don't know a lot about behind-the-scenes sponsored stuff, and everyone hears horror stories, but Nordstrom is not one of those brands. They don't even ask for approval before you post it. They just sometimes give you a general topic like, talk about something in beauty, and could you let us know when you're gonna post it? And that's pretty much all the guidance I get, which I love, which means I get to pick the products I wanna talk about, the products I truly enjoy and wanna share with you, and it just gives me total creative control, and that's the ideal sponsorship, collaboration, relationship. So today, we're gonna talk about kind of two products I've really been wanting to play with here on camera with you. They're both from Clinique. The first one is the Clinique Even Better Clinical Foundation. We'll talk a little bit about this in a minute. It's one of their newer offerings. And then the concealer that basically goes with it. It's the Even Better All Over Concealer and Eraser. And if you're new, please make sure if you're watching on a desktop device to click on the Show More portion, which will have all the links, everything I'm talking about in the order in which I'm describing them, all the information you need. If you're watching on a mobile, next to the title, there's a little arrow, click on that, same deal. Also, if you haven't already done this, consider subscribing if you like this sort of content. Okay, let's get into it. So we're gonna talk about the Even Better Clinical Foundation and the concealer. I have a whole bunch of other things to play with as well. These are all pretty much old favorites. Before we get started, I do want to put on some lip balm. It's also a maximizer or volumizer. It's the La Mer Lip Volumizer. It is definitely a luxury indulgence, but I really like it. I like it before I put on my makeup, and honestly, I slap it on top of stuff. I usually keep this in my purse. Let's pull the hair back. Some of it's real. Some of it's not. If you missed that discussion, I'll put the video up there where you can learn about my hair extensions. All my skincare, sunscreen, all that stuff is on. If you want to know what that current routine looks like, I'll also link that up in the eye and down in the description box. So this foundation, I have it in the shade CN02 Breeze. And what I love about the Clinique foundations is I am consistent across all of their different formulas. That's the shade I always wear. The bottle itself kind of looks like an egg timer, doesn't it? It's a glass bottle. I love this. I just love the shape of it. And has a nice little pump at the top. Okay, I just wanna go over a few things with you from the website just to get the important information. So it does say it's ideal for those with dry combination, oily combination, or oily skin. You'll note it doesn't say that it's good for dry skin, which is people like me. So spoiler alert, I've worn this a couple of times. I absolutely love it. I love how it looks. You'll see in a minute. But it's not something that I'm going to reach for on a daily basis, especially right now in this drier weather. But as we move into summer months and I have that natural glow is given to me by Mother Nature in 100-degree heat, I will use this more often. So I normally talk about foundations that are good for dry skin because that's what I have, but I wanted to cover this because one, I love the finish of this, and two, so many of you have other skin types than me. Now the funny thing is, even though I do have dry skin, I do occasionally still break out, less than I used to, but it still happens, and this does have salicylic acid in it, which definitely helps with the breakouts. It also has hyaluronic acid, it has vitamin C, and it has the Clinique formula for dark spot correcting, which I love their dark spot correcting formula. I'll list that below as well if you haven't tried it. It's supposed to be sweat and humidity resistant, which is why I'm definitely gonna be reaching for this in the summer. It is also waterproof, which I don't think there's anything that is mask proof, but this is really gonna hold up. It's supposed to be able to be worn for 24 hours. Please don't ever test that. And it does have SPF 25. I am not going to wear a primer today. I've started using primers a lot. I like them a lot, but I want you to see how this looks just on the bare skin. Give it a little shake. I'm gonna start with one pump and see where we go. Actually, time out. Before I put on my foundation, I always miss this step. Before I put on foundation, I am gonna put on my under eye corrector, which is the Trish McEvoy Instant Eye Lift. It does come in 3 shades now. I, of course, am wearing the lightest shade. And I'm gonna pat that in with the Beauty Blender. This is something I've been doing the last week or so, is putting on basically the first half of my complexion makeup, actually a lot of it, with the Beauty Blender, and I am really liking how it looks on me. Okay, now we're gonna dot this all over I'll put it on one side so that you can see. This might be more than I need. And then we're gonna use the Beauty Blender. Now, using a beauty sponge is going to change the way it looks on your skin. It is going to shear it out a little bit more than if you apply it with a brush, especially a denser foundation brush. So keep that in mind. But you'll see the beautiful coverage this gives even when lightly applied. But I also think it's a better application technique for those of us with dry skin. That is my opinion. I don't know if there's any fact to that. Here is half the face with it on. And the discoloration that you see on my natural naked skin. So this does a phenomenal job of coverage. I would say this is medium to full coverage, and it's pretty buildable. I'm gonna go ahead and finish the other half of my face. I'll be right back. My whole face is done. It was one full pump. I know that a DSLR camera, just by its nature, sort of blows everything out. I did lower my exposure, so this is really as close to true life as I can get, but let me get in a little closer to the camera just so you can see it's pretty much full coverage, but you can still see some freckles coming through, so maybe medium coverage. It's not mask-like. Let me zoom myself in by standing up. There I am, up close and very personal. It's a beautiful finish. I'm just gonna stop at one pump. I do like to over-apply foundation, but it's really not necessary. Let's move on to the concealer. I usually use two different concealers for my face, one for under eye and one for the face. I found this works well for both, which is unusual. Maybe that's why it's called a concealer and an eraser. So for the concealer, I am wearing it in the same shade as the foundation, Breeze. And what's special about this, it's fortified with vitamin C, hyaluronic acid, and caffeine, which helps with the puffiness and under eye darkness. And it's supposed to have staying power for up to 12 hours. Now, this is designed to be worn under the eyes, so it does not have the salicylic acid that its counterpart has, so it's not going to be drying. It's supposed to be moisturizing. It's also supposed to be sweat and humidity resistant. And this has a, you know what? I've been using this and didn't even realize this. I'm glad I'm looking on their website. This is a dual-ended applicator, so it has the typical doe foot applicator, but it also has, which I didn't realize till I just read it on the Nordstrom site, it has a sponge tip. Oop, can you see it there? It has a sponge tip on this end. If you want to really, you know, basically simulate a tiny little beauty blender, there you go. So that's what I'm gonna do. Let's swipe it under the eyes. And let's use this guy. It does have, it's hard to tell because it's white, but it's rounded on one side and then it has sort of a cut flat edge on the other. I will be honest, I don't love it as much as an actual wet, or damp I should say, sponge. It's a little too firm. So I might consider using that on my face to blend in blemishes, but not under my eye. Lately I do like to do a little bit extra around my nose because of the masks going on and off, and I was picking at something on my chin this morning. A little bit here. That's not bad. Let's try that doe foot again on the face, see how that goes. I definitely like it better on the face, but I don't like it better than a brush or a finger. I do really like the concealer itself. I really don't feel like this needs powder to set the foundation at all, but I am gonna set underneath my eyes because concealer needs to be set, or it's, I know they say it's crease proof, but I would prefer to set it. I'm using the By Terry hyaluronic powder, which I love. And I'm just gonna do a light dusting of the Laura Mercier translucent powder, and it's not so much to set it. Oh, also, one of my all-time favorite powder brushes is now available at Nordstrom. It's the IT Cosmetics Heavenly Wand Ball Powder Brush. So let me tell you why I still do a light dusting of foundation. The other day I tried a different foundation and thought I don't need to do powder. It's kind of self-setting. And my bronzer went on so streaky and unevenly. So this just makes sure there's no moisture on my face so that the powder products I put on will not stick. Now the funny thing is I am about to put some liquid on top, but it works with this powder. Anyway. So we're going to contour with one of my old favorites from Charlotte Tilbury, the Hollywood Contour Wand, just a little bit. Doesn't that make a cute picture? Let me blend all this in and we'll be right back. Now I am going to set the contour slash bronzer with one of my favorite matte bronzers, and this is the Too Faced Milk Chocolate Bronzer. And then I'm gonna go ahead and finish my face, and I'll pop back on and we'll discuss eyes. I will list all the products that I use, whether you see me doing it or not, down in the description box if you want to know what the full look is comprised of. Face is done. Let's talk about the eye. So this is back on the Nordstrom website in new packaging. This is the Sigma Warm Neutrals palette. I've had this for years and I am so glad that it is back. And I actually like the new packaging updated version better. It's more of a rectangle and it comes with a brush. This did not. Colors are exactly the same. They're just in 2 rows instead of this setup. And I thought I would put on a quick eye, doing it in the way I've been doing it lately, which is a big departure from how I used to wear it. So I'm gonna put more of a matte shade all over the lid and in the crease, and then just pop a little bit of shimmer right in the middle. So I'm gonna start with this shade Toasty in the crease with a fluffy brush. If you were using Sigma brushes, I would say the equivalent would be the E40. Just really quickly, just to give myself sort of a guideline as to where it's going. And I am putting it a lot higher up than normal. Also making sure that hood part, the part that kind of is puffing out, has pigment on it as well. And then with a pencil brush, same color, right underneath the lower lash line. Then I'm going to take a flatter but still slightly fluffy brush, like an E25, but the same color. And the reason I'm not using a flat brush like a MAC 239 is I want the pigment to be a little more diffused. And I'm just gonna fluff that, so to speak, all over the lid, making sure I get it up, not just into the crease, but up into the socket line to meet where I diffused out the color, like that. And you can continue to layer it up if you want to build up the intensity. I especially want to concentrate more of the color on the lower part of the lid and then sort of blend it up so it fades and gets lighter as it goes up towards the socket line. I'm going to go in with Henna, which is a deeper brown, but it has definite reddish undertones because I want to kind of play into the pink that's going on here. Isn't this top cute? This is all new from Nordstrom and I am loving it. You know how much I love their house brands. Loving the 2 pieces I just picked up. Okay, so I'm gonna take a pencil brush, you could take a thin brush, and I'm just dotting that darker henna color along the lower lash line. And I'll build it up if I want to, but I wanna start a little less intense. Whatever's left on the brush, I'm just gonna run a little bit on the outer third of each eye on the lower half. And then I'm actually gonna take the E25, I didn't realize I had it, and with the tip of it this time, focus it on the outer corner and pull it up into the socket line. And we're gonna blend that out momentarily. I do wanna pull it up pretty high because see this puffy part here, really, that's the hood of my eye. It really needs that pigment there to make it basically recede. Do it here too so you can see I'm pulling it up pretty high. Now I'm gonna take a fluffy brush. I'm gonna make sure it's clean and I'm just gonna start to blend. I don't want the harsh edges. And if I really want to diffuse out those edges, I will take that brush and go into a skin tone. In my case, it's Humble, and just kind of use it to shear out those edges a little and have it more easily blend into that edge. I do want to add a little lightness to the center, both in tone and in shimmer. So with my favorite brush, my ring finger, I'm going to go in with Beaming right there. It's the lightest shimmer shade. And I'm just gonna pat it right in the center of my eye and I'm gonna pull it up to the socket line. And then just sort of pat in a little circle to diffuse it out a little. All right, I'm gonna curl my lashes and throw on some mascara. First, I'm gonna use the Dior Lash Primer and then I'm gonna follow up with the Armani Eyes to Kill mascara. I will be right back and then we'll address lips. Before I move on to lips, let's set it all. My go-to setting spray of late. which is the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray. I still love this little travel size. This is my second one. I have been enjoying lining my lips again. I go in and out. It's just, you know, sometimes I'm into it, sometimes I'm not, and I'm going to use the go-to one that is my favorite of probably years now, which is the Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheat. So the latest trend in lipstick lip balm is sort of a hybrid lipstick lip balm in a stick. I've seen it, I guess it was kind of before the trend. I remember, oh, I got one from Chantecaille years ago, actually from Nordstrom. And I've seen a few other brands. And of course, Charlotte Tilbury loves her lipsticks, kind of famous for the Pillow Talk shade now, and of course released their version of it. It's called the Happy Kiss, not happiness, but Happy Kiss lipstick balm. And it comes in a lot of shades. Of course, I picked it up in Pillow Talk. It's a unique dispensing, instead of just twisting it and up, it clicks up. Very much like the Chantecaille one, actually. It limits you from overusing it, I guess. And it's a nice hybrid, I'd say. I think it's definitely more pigmented than the Chantecaille one I had. And what I like is it's not as sticky as some of the more balm heavy versions. This is definitely more of a lipstick than a lip balm. And it's gonna last a little bit longer because I've been really enjoying it. It does come in a lot of other shades. I kind of want to try the crystal one, and there's some of the lighter shades, but here is their version in Pillow Talk. So this is the full look with some of my new products, revisiting some old ones that are back. If you want all the details, all the makeup that is on my face, all the accessory details, like these fun little huggy hoop earrings, this classic Nordstrom necklace that is again back on the website, and some of the new pieces in my collection, make sure that you check the description box for all of those details. I'm also posting outfits of the day over on Instagram if you want to see the full-length outfit there. As always, thank you so much to Nordstrom for offering to work with me today, and even bigger thanks to all of you with all of your support that make collaborations like this possible. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.